in, friends and neighbors, or shall I say this afternoon.
Welcome back to the Tigers franchise on MLB the Show. I'm your host, longtime listener. Be sure to drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and comment below. We have played 148 games in this regular season, and we've got a 3-game advantage over the White Sox. So we just lost game 1. We had the lead, blew it, fell behind 9-4 actually. Scored 4 runs in the bottom of the ninth, but had nobody out and came up just short in that one. But you see here, we've got a game here, another one, a 3-game set against the Orioles, and then another 3-game set against the White Sox. So some big games coming up, because then it's just a series against the Twins, or Royals, and then Twins, and the season's over. So this should be the last episode of the regular season, especially depending on what happens in this next game that we see, which is going to feature Lance Lynn and Tarik Skubal. Nothing else super noteworthy to discuss. As far as injuries go, though, I do want to at least look and see what we've got here, because Casey Mize is very close to coming back off of the disabled list. It says he's going to be injured for another week to 2 weeks, and he's got 8 days left on that 60-day DL. We'll just drop him back on there if we have to, or just add him back to the roster and send down like Kyle Funkhauser, who was called up for the 28-man expanded rosters. But nonetheless, we are ready for action here. It is going to be the White Sox and the Tigers at Comerica coming your way. And here we are in Detroit, Michigan, late in the season, a big game here with the White Sox trailing the Tigers by 3 games in the American League Central. Every game at this point in the year absolutely critical, especially when it's against the team that is, directly adjacent to you in the standings. The Tigers come in with a 3-game edge here, so this game just absolutely critical for Chicago. You don't want to fall 4 or 5 games back with a week or 2 to go left in the season. And Tarik Skubal going to try and do something about it. He has pitched well for the Tigers this year, a 1.17 whip and an 8-3 record, and missed some starts. This will be his 20th of the season. Would imagine that if he would have got a full season in, he would be pushing 15 wins on the year. But with 2 outs, that's Luis Roberts sending it into center field for a 2-out knock. First base runner of the ball game, and then it's 3-2 to Yasmani Grandal. Runner in motion. Pitch gets the inside corner. Grandal not happy with the call. It's a strikeout for Skubal, and we go to the bottom of the first. 1 away for Riley Green, swing and a miss. Lance Lynn got the 2-seamer past him with a running fastball there up in the zone. And then it's Austin Meadows on 1-0. He gets a pitch to handle, takes through the right side, past the diving try at second, and it's a 2-out knock for the Tigers, and they have their first base runner with 2 outs in the first inning. Then Javi Baez, 0-2, that ball in the dirt. Meadows going to take off and get to second, so now a runner in scoring position and an opportunity for the Tigers to maybe grab an early lead if they can get a 2-out knock from Baez. Next pitch is a fastball up that he could not lay off. He's down on strikes, and it's a scoreless frame in the first. We go to the second. It's 0-0 each team with a stranded runner. And now on to the top of the second. Off the glove of Torkelson, and then he turns around, can't find the ball. Didn't know where it went. An infield single, and that will start off the inning for the White Sox. So an opportunity here for Andrew Vaughn. Next batter, that ball is deep to right center field. It's got a chance to get down, and it will, as Baddoo can't quite get there. Now the runner at first had to kind of make sure that it would get down. Only get to second on that play, so it is a long single, a break for the Tigers, but let's see if the White Sox can still manage to take advantage, and that's going to help as Eloy Jimenez is going to draw a walk to load the bases. Nobody out in the inning, and Yohan Moncada due up for the White Sox. 3-2 pitch to him is going to be low for ball 4, and Tarik Skubal has walked in a run here to start the scoring in the ball game. Then it's Adam Engel, ground ball to short. Baez goes 6-4-3. So the Tigers get 2, but a run does come in to score, and I think Detroit, happy to take that trade, is now they're 1 out away from getting out of this,
and minimizing the damage at this point. But now 2-0 White Sox. Next batter, Tim Anderson. First pitch, he is swinging, hits a soft ground ball to the Candyman. And good job by Scooble. He got himself into some trouble there with some walks, but manages to get a couple of ground balls to get out of the inning. And the score's still manageable. It is 2-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. Now on to the top of the third. Luis Robert, first pitch of the inning. That ball is just murdered. Austin Meadows did not even move, and that makes it 3-0 on an absolute blast. 26th of the year for Robert. 410 feet to left center field. Then it's Tim Anderson on a 0-1 pitch. He's going deep to left. That ball into the bullpen here in the top of the fifth. So both third inning and fifth inning, the White Sox start things off with leadoff home runs. That's the 17th of the year for Anderson. Makes it 4-0, and that is it for Tarek Skubal. Kind of struggling with command in this one, and he goes 4+, giving up 4 runs, and now they turn to Joe Jimenez out of the bullpen to try and give him some work. He has not been very good for them this year. Just hoping that he can keep it within 4. First batter he faces, Leori Garcia into center field on an 0-1 pitch. That one getting way too much of the plate. And now a base runner with nobody out. Then Luis Robert, he serves one into center field after Garcia stole second. He's going to come around to score here as the throw is into second base. It's now 5-0. Still a runner on, nobody out. Now 2 outs in the inning for Andrew Vaughn with the bases loaded. He serves it into right. Robert in to score. The next runner is going to hold at third, but it is now 6-0 here in the 7th inning. Joey Wentz on in relief at this point. The White Sox just pouring it on. Now on the bottom of the 6th, finally the Tigers going to get on the board here as Torkelson was not sure if that was going to get down, and it gets out of here. Cabrera with his 19th of the season. The Tigers finally claw into the runs column. That makes it 6-2. That ball traveling 358 feet as Mickey having a respectable season at his age. But now on to the top of the 9th. Runner on third, 2 away. That ball into the corner in right field, going to make it 7-2. The White Sox with an outstanding performance on both sides of the ball today as they just put it on the Tigers and take this one 7-2 your final. And a big win for them as they clawed it within 2 games in the AL Central, and things heating up there in that race. Lance Lynn going to get the win in this one as he pitched pretty well for the White Sox. We'll take a look at the box score here in just a second as Luis Robert gets player of the game. He went 5 for 5, 3 singles, a homer, and a triple. What a day for the center fielder there. Only had 2 driven in despite all of that effort. They also got 3 hits from Abreu and 3 hits from Andrew Vaughn, and that's where a lot of their offense came from in this one, aside from the solo homer from Tim Anderson in the 5th inning, and they win this one easily. Abreu with a double, Jimenez with a double, Robert with a triple and home run, Anderson a home run. They spread the RBIs out. Engel hit into a big double play. Garcia his 7th stolen base. Lance Lynn, 11th win of the year, 6 1/3, 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 Ks, 2 earned runs. Great job from Lambert going 2 2/3 of perfect baseball to finish things out. And they collect the win here collectively. And then the Tigers just 5 hits on the day, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, including a rough day for Riley Green, 0 for 3 at the plate with a hat trick. He did draw a walk, but not a very good day for him. Austin Meadows, a pair of hits. Cabrera with a pair of hits, including the 2-run homer. That was all of the offense in the runs column for the Tigers in this one. They hit into a couple of double plays. Skubal gets his 4th loss of the year, did not pitch well in this one. 4 innings, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 4 earned. Jimenez, an inning of work, gave up an earned run. Joey Wentz did an admirable job. Did give up some hits, but he gave up 2 runs over 4 innings in garbage time. And the Tigers fall 7-2.
Okay, and now between games, we do have some activity going on that I do want to cover real quick just to kind of explain where we're at. We are 8 days away from the postseason. When we come around to this spot in the rotation, it would be Eduardo Rodriguez against the White Sox, who we just saw in the last episode. So rather than having that game, what we will do is go through this rotation one more time and show you Eduardo Rodriguez's last start, which will be this Saturday game against the Twins. The reason I'm also kind of considering doing that is because we're 4 games up on the White Sox. This game doesn't, while it does mean a lot, if we can win this one, we pretty much lock up a playoff berth and the AL Central title. But I don't want to necessarily control that, especially since we just played them. Now, the other thing that happened is we do have some people coming back off of injury, namely Casey Mize. So he is back off of the disabled list, and we now have, and Alex Fado came back off the DL. So we've got a couple of moves that we need to make on the roster to set the active roster back to 28. So somebody is going to get sent down to Triple A, and I'm actually leaning towards Joey Wentz. He has just been atrocious pretty much all season. I've got Tyler Alexander and Tony Watson as lefties. I'm wondering, though, if I shouldn't... Hang on. I think actually the better option would be Kyle Funkhauser. Really just because we don't have a whole lot of use for an extra short relief right-handed arm. So let's send him down to AAA. And now we actually have too many arms at AAA. So someone's going to have to go down from AAA to AA. We'll just... Cripes. Who do we want to send down? We've got 7 starters. Let's just send Fado down to AA. Coming back off the DL, he's going to do a rehab stint at AA, is what we're going to say. And now we have to send somebody from AA down. And we also need to send somebody from AAA down to AA. So let's do that. And then one more arm goes from AAA or from AA to Class A. Now at least our roster numbers are good. We need to then go into the rotation, and like Rodriguez is pitching well lately. Turnbull has been pitching very well lately. Pineda and Skubal have both been really good. While Manning was really good for us his first several starts, he has scuffled of late. So I think he's going to be the odd man out. But next year, we will probably do some things either with one of these 2 guys or maybe one of these top 3 to free up a spot for Matt Manning in the starting rotation. He's proved this year that he can handle it. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, which is a little bit of a concern, but he did well enough that I can justify for sure giving him a shot in the starting rotation next year. So that's what we're going to rock for the rotation. Actually, let's go ahead and put Mize back in the 3rd spot and just go like that. So that'll give Pineda and Skubal an extra day of rest between their next start. All right. So the next game we see is going to be Eduardo Rodriguez against the Twins. So sit tight. And where is that game actually? It is at home. So that'll be the last game of the regular season in this franchise series. So sit tight, and we'll be going out to Comerica to take on the Twins here in just a minute.
And it is the dog days of summer, as it is the final series of the year. Just 2 games left in the season, and the Tigers have already clinched. So this game really doesn't mean a whole lot for either team, but Carlos Correa is thinking about his stat line for the year, as he is having a great season. 290 batting average with 31 home runs, 86 driven in, Gold Glove caliber shortstop defensively as well with a 910 OPS. Puts him in the argument for one of the most valuable players in the league, despite playing on a losing team. And now Matt Manning going to get the spot start here, as he's got a 3.21 ERA, a 1.28 whip this year across 19 starts, doing a pretty admirable job for the Tigers in the effort that he's given him. But he has struggled to miss bats and get strikeouts, and that's not going to help. A 3-2 pitch there to Arias, misses inside. It's a leadoff walk. And the first batter of the game is on, and now it's Austin Martin. First pitch swinging on a 2-seamer that runs back over the middle of the plate, and he hits this ball a ton into the bullpen, and just like that, it is 2-0. We're 7 pitches in, and the Twins say, we don't care if our season is over. We're going to put up some runs today, and that's a good start there as Austin Martin gets his 2nd of the year. Next pitch, how about Carlos Correa going back-to-back, and that ball hit a ton way out of here over the bullpen in left center field. That was an absolute bomb from Correa, his 32nd of the year, 435 feet, and that was a no-doubter. Let's go to the bottom of the second, and a chance for the Tigers. A 1-2 pitch with 2 outs, and Barnhart able to go up and get this and take it into the gap way out there in right center field. 2 runs will come in to score. Barnhart getting greedy, going to try for 3, but a perfect relay is going to nail him. So they get 2 on the 2-out double to cut the lead down to 1. And we go to the third as Barnhart gunned down at third. Now 3-2. It's on the bottom of the third, and the Tigers going to work on offense again, and that's Spencer Torkelson into center field. 1 run going to come in and score, and that'll tie the ball game here with 1 away in the bottom of the third. It is now 3-3 as the Tigers bounce right back after that rough first inning. Matt Manning settling in, Tigers getting him some runs, and they're not done yet. Next batter, Miguel Cabrera hits one deep to right center field, much like the same area that Barnhart hit his. Cabrera has the sense to stop at second, but it is going to be a 2-run double for Miggy, and the Tigers now have the lead 5-3 here in the bottom of the third inning, and they are fired up. 26th double of the year for Miguel Cabrera as he continues to have a Hall of Fame career. On to the top of the fourth. Can the Twins respond? Yeah. 2-2 pitch to Miguel Sano is hit high and deep and out of here to the deepest part of the ballpark in right center field with that high wall out there. It is not easy to get one over that wall, but he sent it well over it, 423 feet for his 27th of the year, and the scoring continues. It's 5-4. Bottom of the fourth, runner on third, 2 away, and Riley Green connects, and the scoring is just going bonkers here. It's 7-4 in just the 4th inning as the Tigers and Twins can't put up any defense in this one. We would go to the bullpens after this situation. Things would settle down. Riley Green with his 11th of the year. Now all the way to the 9th inning. Andrew Chafin on, looking for the final out. That ball hit well, but right at Austin Meadows, or actually I think that's Victor Reyes playing left field at that point. The Tigers win this one 7-4, sort of abbreviated coverage of the ball game, so we can cover some stats and standings here in a second. As the season is rounding out and the Tigers faithful letting their crew hear their appreciation. Look at the box score, 7 hits and a walk for the Twins, 8 strikeouts on the day. Garlick with a double and Sanchez as well. They hit 3 home runs, Correa, Sano, and Martin, respectively. Martin's was a 2-run shot. The other 2 were solos, and that was all of the scoring for the Twins in this one. So they kind of spread out the hits that they did get. Martin with his 5th error of the year. Balazovic, a tough day going and getting his 16th loss of the year. 3 2/3, 8 hits and a walk, and 7 earned. Ober did an outstanding job across the final 4 1/3, allowing just 2 hits and a walk. Struck out 1 and kept the game within reach. But the Tigers end up with 10 hits, 2 walks, and only struck out 4 times. Multiple hits from Green, Torkelson, and Cabrera on the day. Green with his 11th homer of the year. Cabrera, Barnhart, and Reyes all with doubles, and a few of them were driving in multiple runs for Cabrera and Barnhart, respectively. Cabrera hit into 2 double plays today. Castro stole his 3rd base of the year. Baddoo was caught for the 5th time. Matt Manning, rough day, 3 1/3, 5 hits and a walk, gave up 4 earned. And then Joey Wentz did an excellent job going 4 2/3, 2 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. He gets his 1st win of the year. And Andrew Chafin gets his 50th save of the year, and the Tigers take this one 7-4.
And before we wrap up the episode, we are at the end of the season, so the postseason now upon us. The Tigers have won the AL Central, and we will be facing the Houston Astros in the divisional series. So we are going to take an opportunity to look at stats and standings around the league, and that is how we will wrap up this episode. So we will start with standings. The Blue Jays, 102 wins, take the East easily. The Rays get a wild card at 89 and 73, edging out the Yankees. The Tigers win, and we ran away with it at the very end. As we won our last 5, the White Sox lost their last 4. And that pretty much the reason why it's a 6-game change there, or delta between those two teams. The Astros just barely edge out the Mariners, who collect the additional wild card in the American League. And the worst record in the American League goes to the Baltimore Orioles at 52 and 110. On to the National League. as we've got the Braves by 8 games in the NL East. A bunch of records here that are kind of surprising. The Mets finishing at just 500. You would have thought they would have been better this year. The Cardinals win the AL or the NL Central by a game over the Brewers and a game and a half over the Cubs. So this here reflective of a one-game playoff for these two teams to decide the champion in that division. So that was interesting there. The Pirates won 66 games, which is a little bit better than I would have expected from them this year, but still atrocious. The Dodgers win 100 games even and take the NL West by 8 games over the Giants and 12 over the Padres, who get the second wild card. So 3 teams from the West are going to get in, and the Brewers, the next closest team, finishing essentially 2 games back plus the extra loss for the play-in game. So that's it for standings around the league. And again, the worst record in baseball goes to none other than the Baltimore Orioles at 52 and 110. Now, let's look at some stats. And we're going to start by just looking at what the Tigers accomplished this year. So if we look at hits, Miguel Cabrera leading the team in hits, and he played in 159 games, got 593 at-bats. So that's part of the reason why. He ended up with 20 home runs as well, and Javi Baez led the team with 31 dingers, 93 RBIs. Akil Baddoo with 33 stolen bases, and he only had 309 at-bats, played 86 games, basically just over a half a season, and stole 33 bags. That is just crazy. Team batting average leader was Javi Baez, and he also led in OPS. One other thing that we'll show you is Spencer Torkelson led the team in strikeouts. A little bit interesting. He did rack up a bunch of them this year, but he also led the team in at-bats this season, playing in 160 games, getting 596 at-bats. Ended up with 21 homers for the year. Not that bad for a rookie campaign, and obviously look to see him improve in years to come. So what we'll also, I guess, do is just kind of sort by OPS now and go down and look at who kind of overachieved and underachieved. Solid year for Baez. Baddoo, I would like to see the average come up, but that's not that bad of an OPS, especially for a guy that we can stick in the leadoff spot. He slugged pretty well, but realistically, I just want him getting on base, and 324 is not that great of an OBP. Robbie Grossman, 778, pretty solid for him, turned in a decent year. I will take these numbers from Cabrera. Eric Haas, the average kind of slumped off toward the end of the year. He was hot at the beginning and then cooled off. Austin Meadows, this was disappointing at 243 and just 19 home runs, and he played a lot this year. He got 534 at-bats. He's got to put up better numbers for us. We saw what Torkelson did, 716 OPS as a rookie. Riley Green actually did okay. I mean, 247, 11 home runs, and he only got 283 at-bats. So you give him 500 at-bats, or even pushing 600, and he's up there in the mid-20s for home run potential already. So I like what we're getting out of him. Want to see the average come a little bit, as well as the on-base percentage. Tucker Barnhart was really bad at the beginning of the year, played better down the stretch, and those numbers are actually not that bad for a defensive catcher. Jonathan Scope, probably the biggest disappointment on the team this year. He was just really bad against right-handed pitching. Just didn't get any power going, ends up with 15 home runs. Just not a very good season for our veteran second baseman. Jeimer Candelario, also very disappointing. He was right up there with Scope for the, arguably the most disappointing year. Victor Reyes, also kind of throw his name into that category. Willie Castro really, really struggled early on, but it ended up turning it around to where down the stretch he was okay, but still the aggregate not very impressive. And then Derek Hill hit 501. Now, you'll notice Derek Hill is showing up on here, and Harold Castro is not, because they've automatically set our playoff rosters, and they did not put Harold Castro on that roster for us, which is frustrating, because I want him on there, and now I don't know if I can add him prior to going in to that first round. We'll have to take a look at that, but before we do so, let's look at the pitching. Eduardo Rodriguez led the team in wins with 15, then Pineda and Turnbull. Casey Mize, he ended up only working 138 innings due to injury and went 9-6. So these two guys pitched pretty well considering they missed a lot of time. And you'll kind of see that as we unfold some of the other or take a closer look at some of the other stats. So the ones that I like to look at are ERA and WHIP. And we'll start with the ugly. Gregory Soto only ended up working 13 innings. We sent him down because he was just so god-awful across that stretch. And then he goes down to the minors and just continued to be god-awful. And now we've got him on the Major League roster apparently for the playoffs because I think that's the only reason he would show up on this list, which, again, frustrating because I don't want him on the list. Jose Cisnero, also pretty disappointing. He was pretty good at the beginning of the year, if I remember right, and then he just really struggled down the stretch. Turnbull, that ERA is not that bad over the course of a season. Work 195 innings, and you come in around 3.5. That's pretty solid. So he's a little bit high, but not that bad. Tony Watson, the whip needs to come down for him. He struggled a little bit at times, but started to pitch a little bit better as he got settled in. But, he's a rental for the year anyway. Eduardo Rodriguez was a little bit of a disappointment. The whip just higher than I want to see it. But the ERA is not that bad, so we give him a pass because he ended up winning 15 games for us. Matt Manning, he needs to strike more guys out, but that whip is okay. The ERA is okay. So kind of, excited what we can get out of him if he starts figuring out how to make guys swing and miss. Tyler Alexander had his ups and downs, but the aggregate for him is actually pretty impressive. A 1.14 whip, 3.33 ERA, both I would consider good in terms of major league numbers, and then he worked 81 innings for us, which is not that bad out of the bullpen. Pineda was solid all year. He was our most consistent starting pitcher, hands down. He only ends up winning 13 games, but a 1.16 whip and a 3.25 ERA are both pretty impressive. Tarek Skubal was solid pretty much all year, cooled off a little bit after he got injured, unfortunately, but still ends up going 8-4, worked 126 innings, a very good whip at 1.2 and a 3.06 ERA to go with it. Casey Mize was outstanding this year. Really would have liked to have seen what he could have done had he not been injured, because he could have easily been a 15-game winner. Andrew Chafin, these numbers are a little bit misleading because he was like lights out at the beginning of the season, and then he struggled for a while, and then down the stretch he was just like pretty good. But he ends up getting a bunch of saves for us and was, probably among the league leaders in that category, which we'll get a look at in a second. Michael Fulmer was our most consistent relief pitcher, a 1.16 whip and a 2.34 ERA, and his numbers were in that neighborhood all season long. He was just rock solid. Chase Anderson, limited sample size here, 12 2/3, but he pitched pretty well across that stretch to a 1.42 ERA, although the whip is a little bit up there. So that's a look at our individual statistics. Let's go look at league leaders and see if we've got anybody that shows up in these categories. So Vlad Guerrero gets the batting title at 333 and kind of ran away with that one. But look at this. The White Sox have 3 guys in the top 6 on that list. So that's pretty impressive. Guerrero led the league in hits. At bats, wow, 650 for David Fletcher. So I wonder where, Torkelson ends up 12th in at bats for the season, which isn't that bad for a rookie, if I do say so. Rosario, 43 doubles. Robert, 11 triples. Alvarez, 47 homers. Ran away with that one. We didn't even get close to sniffing the lead here. Didn't even get into the top 15. Tied for 16th is our leader in that category. Alvarez, also 110 RBI, led in that category. Where was he for a batting average? 5th. So he no. 4th. So he was that close to a triple crown. Pretty good year for him. Let's look at runs. Guerrero. How about this? Akil Baddoo led the league in stolen bases and missed half the season. That is outstanding for him. But he's the only speed we've got for the most part. Baez, I feel like, stole some bags. There's Reyes with 21, tied for 10th, and Baez with 19, tied for 12th. So that's actually, we got a couple of guys with speed, but we have a bunch of guys with none. So we may try and work on that as we go forward, and we'll talk more about that maybe in the off season, about some things that I'm thinking about from a strategic perspective. Grandal leads the league in walks, Guerrero in OBP, Alvarez in slugging, and then really close there for the OPS crown, but it goes to Vladdy Jr. Garrett Cole, 19 wins, led the league in that category. Framber Valdez, just 4 losses. So there's Sewell with 54 saves for the Mariners, and Andrew Chafin with 50, tied for second. So a solid year for him, and a huge pickup for us this offseason. ERA, we really don't have anybody in the mix here, although Casey Mize, I think, would show up on this list if he had enough innings, but he didn't get enough innings, I don't think. So, our best was Pineda at 3.25, but I'm pretty sure Casey Mize had a better ERA than that. Doesn't matter. Shutouts, Shane Bieber with 5. Garrett Cole led the league in strikeouts by 1 over Shohei Ohtani. 6 complete games for Bieber. And Garrett Cole, a third of an inning over Kevin Gossman to lead the league in that category. And how about Shohei with 227 innings, 4th most in the league, and he's a two-way player. That's just insane. Walks allowed, Marco Gonzalez just 28. How about Pineda, just 41, tied for 3rd. Pretty good year. Whip, Kevin Gossman, what a year for him. Jeez Louise. And then he also led the league in pitching WAR. And there's Ohtani, 6.3, just behind him. So that's really impressive. Batting WAR, Luis Robert with 7.5. Mike Trout ends up 4th on the list. I want to look at what he did for the season, though. He only played 106 games, so more injury trouble for Mike Trout. His pursuit of 3,000 is in serious jeopardy, and it's really because if you look over the last several years, he has just not been able to get healthy. That's now 6 years in a row where he's dealt with injuries, and if you would have asked me at the end of 2016 if he was going to get there, I would have said, heck yeah. Because he's racking up 175 to 200 a year, and you would have thought that would have continued probably through like 2024 when he hits about 32 years old, but injuries have seriously hampered his chances of getting to that iconic mark. So let's look at the National League just real quick. Juan Soto, 317. Acuna with 41 dingers, edged out Soto. Freeman, 106 RBIs. Good year there. I want to see what Bryce Harper did. He's so inconsistent that it drives me crazy that they make him a 96 overall. And I guess they do it based off of the last 3 years. But like when I see this year right here, 268, 33 homers, well, I guess the OPS is actually better than I thought. But if they would have gone back and done it like right here and put these 3 years together, he should have been like an 84. But the last couple years, he's turned it around, I guess, to where his numbers are starting to reflect his paycheck a little bit more. But I still feel like in the long run, people are going to look back and say, yeah, maybe this guy was just a little bit overrated. But we'll see. He's only 29. He's already got 303 home runs. So I might be completely wrong. Wait. Go back. Okay, so stolen bases, Trey Turner, 48. On base, Juan Soto. Slugging, Acuna. And OPS, Acuna. That number right there is just insane. Max Fried. Okay, we actually got 4 guys tied with the most wins at 14. Nobody on the Dodgers in the top. Well, I guess tied for the league lead. And then you have, there they are. There they show up. All right, so saves. Ooh, look at this. The Cubs have the league's leading save getter, and he's not even a true closer. That's interesting, but good for him. Adam Wainwright, a 1.98 ERA this year. And he worked 223 innings and a .99 whip. Father Time, get out of my face. Wow. That is crazy. Homers allowed. And that's why right there. You work that many innings and only giving up 17 home runs. You're doing something right. 7 shutouts. Jesus. 226 for strikeouts. Adam Wainwright works 8 complete games along with his teammate. 234 innings. Tied for the league lead. So there you go. All right, so let's look at pitching WAR and batting WAR. So Acuna ran away with that one. Corbin Burns. Wow. All right, so that's the league leaders. I don't really think there's anything else we want to look at, with maybe the exception being awards. So the MVP in the American League goes to Yordan Alvarez. Garrett Cole wins the Cy Young, edging out Shohei Ohtani. Vlad Guerrero, the batting title. Reliever of the year, Ryan Presley. 50 saves, a 2.03 ERA. Pretty solid year for him. Alek Manoah, rookie of the year in the American League. It kind of bothers me that they've got 3 pitchers on this list, but maybe, some of these guys with the bat didn't quite, deserve to get up there, I guess. I mean, 14 wins or better as a rookie is pretty darn impressive. I just wonder who else was in the mix on the offensive side of things. Guerrero, another Hank Aaron Award. Gold Glove goes to Jamison Taillon, Yasmani Grandal, Ryan Mountcastle, Kike Hernandez. Matt Chapman gets another one. J.P. Crawford gets his second in 3 years, edging out Baez. And remember, Baez had a bunch of errors right at the beginning of the season. So if it weren't for that, he probably would have won the Gold Glove. And the fielding percentage is better. So, whatever. All right, Randy Arozarena in left. Kiermaier gets one in center. I feel like he's probably got a couple of those. And Aaron Judge in right. Silver Slugger, Bogarts, Perez another, Vlad Jr. another, Semien another, Jose Ramirez gets another one, Javi Baez at short, Alvarez in left, Judge, I guess, in right, Luis Robert in center, we'll say. MVPs are obviously yet to be awarded, and then in the National League, Acuna gets the MVP, Jake DeGrom gets the Cy Young, and then Rookie of the Year goes to O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates. He hit .235, but he hit 24 dingers at shortstop, so decent year with the bat, but I never like seeing an average that low. So we're ready for the postseason, and I know I mentioned speed as a team strategy, and here's what I'm thinking there. I'll say this before we wrap up the episode. I could easily see the league starting to go down the trend of seeing less and less home runs and getting back to more of a strategic mentality from an offensive perspective. And what I mean by that is putting the ball in play, seeing more things like hit and run, guys stealing bases, because baseball has obviously done some things to try and give the edge back to the pitchers a little bit by using the humidors to keep the ball from flying out of the ballpark. They're talking about banning the shift. So there's things that are hinting towards an era where baseball starts to get away from this strikeout or home run mentality, and launch angles being a big feature, and getting back to a level swing plane, keeping the bat in the strike zone as long as you can kind of thing, having a swing more like Pujols did when he was in his prime, where you just increase your chances of making contact instead of increase your chances of hitting for extra bases because of your launch angle. So we'll see. And I'm thinking from a strategic perspective, we might try and build our team that way, where we're looking for more guys that are going to be contact and speed with, obviously guys in the heart of the order. We want some pop. But if you're playing outfield for me, chances are I want you to have a pretty good glove and be able to hit for average and steal some bases. So we'll see if we can pull that off. But anyway, we are ready for playoff action. The next episode is going to start with Game 1, Tigers against the Astros. And what we will do in the playoffs is we will play game 1, and then we will quick manage the next game or more, depending on the situation. But bottom line is we're not going to play every game, but I will show you when I simulate and I quick manage, I will at least show that action so you can see the game unfold play by play, but it only takes about 5 minutes to watch the entire game. So anyway, that is going to do it for this episode. If you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, comment below, and we will see y'all next time.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. Or shall I say this afternoon?